Good evening, everyone. I would like to call to order the reorganizational meeting of the East Greenbush Central School District Board of Education. All are present except for Dr. Shane. If everyone could please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we will need a brief executive session. Could I have a motion to go into executive session? Kathy, Ken? Board of Education will move into executive session to discuss matters concerning to the negotiation of a particular contract. You ready, sir? Yeah. Okay, could I have a motion to resume regular session, please? Kathy, Cindy? Okay. Ms. Pangburn, when you're ready, we'll move up to the oath of office for Superintendent of Schools.
Dr. Coates, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Superintendent according to the best of your ability?
I will.
Thank you.
And now we will move to the oath of office for our newly elected board members.
Jay Harrison, do you solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the Board of Education member according to the best of your ability?
I will.
Jesse Temple, do you solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you'll faithfully discharge the duties of the Board of Education member according to the best of your ability?
I affirm.
Thank you. Robert Argioni, do you solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of Board of Education member according to the best of your ability?
I did.
Thank you.
Great. And our next items, I would ask all board members to please review and sign both the school board member code of conduct and the acceptable use agreement for Board of Education members. There should be a copy in your packets for your signature.
What, please?
Highly paid ones.
Do you have one?
Okay. And next, could I have a motion to approve the resolution for appointment of ex officio student members to the Board of Education? Kathy, Rob M. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the East Greenbush Central School District hereby approves the appointment of ex officio student board members William Baum and Elliot Merritt to the Board of Education. Motion, or all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
William Bowen, solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of ex officio student board, school board member according to the best of your ability?
I will.
Thanks. You, Elliot Merritt, solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of ex officio student school board member according to the best of your ability?
I do.
We're now up to the point of appointment of Board of Education officers and approvals for district stipends. At this time, I would like to call for nominations for, did I miss something, Jean?
We have to do the president.
Oh, that's what I was getting to
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry.
No.
Sorry.
I'd now like to call for nominations for the position of President of the Board of Education for the 26-27 school year.
I nominate Kim Turner for President, Board of Education.
Any other calls for different nominations? Okay. Okay, I'd like to call for a vote then. All those in favor of Ms. Kim Turner for President of the Board of Education for the 26-27 school year. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Gladly pass over your gavel.
Okay, moving along. We need a nomination for vice president.
Kathy?
Do we need a second?
Any others first?
Oh, any others? Okay, seeing no others, can we vote? All in favor? Okay, moving on to assistant clerk. Any nominations for assistant
You have
clerk?
to do a motion.
You can do a second.
Oh,
One
second.
person nominated.
Okay.
you do the second.
Second for Kathy.
Kathy.
Okay.
RP.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, all right. So nominations for assistant clerk.
I nominate RP.
Any other nominations? Can I get a second? Robert Shane, all those in favor? Okay, last but not least, nominations for deputy treasurer.
I'll nominate Sam.
Any other nominations?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I was the treasurer last year, the deputy treasurer. Probably should have asked this last year. I'd be a little bit interested in like exactly what the role was.
That's a really good question.
Because I did it for a year and I didn't have to do anything.
Well,
so I
that's
just
my
wanted to-
understanding is that's kind of
That's
Okay.
always the
the
goal.
role.
That's always the goal. Yes. So many school districts have deputy treasurers. So sometimes it is a board officer that serves in that role. Sometimes it can be an internal candidate. Fortunately, we haven't had a situation where we needed to tap into the deputy treasurer, but it is a future conversation that we'd like to have.
Oh.
Internal.
So again,
Well,
just
I was watching this with a keen
Yeah,
eye.
so
I
basically
apologize
the
for
deputy
taking a lot of
treasurer
time.
is a signatory on our bank accounts.
Okay.
So signing the vendor checks, the accounts payable checks. We haven't, you are a signer on our accounts, but we don't have you embedded in our accounting system with the signature plates and actually have you as a login because we haven't had to deploy that. In the event that there was an issue where we had to, we could get things up to speed pretty quickly. So.
Do you still want to?
That's quite important. Very good. I'm happy to help.
Okay.
Unless anybody else would like it.
Anybody else? Any other nominations?
And takers.
Okay. Can
I'll
I
second.
can I say second? Robert M or Rob M.
Okay.
And then all those in favor. Okay.
well, thank you to all of our board officers for your service to our district.
You, Kimberly Turner, solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of Board of Education President according to the best of your ability. You, Kathy Van Worden, solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of Board of Education Vice President according to the best of your ability.
I will.
You, Hanashi, solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of Board of Education clerk according to the best of your
Will.
You, Samantha Phillips, solemnly affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the Board of Education deputy treasurer according to the best of your
You will.
Moving on to the appointments of the Board of Education and approvals of district stipends. Did anybody have any questions or comments about these? Okay, can I get a motion to approve? Rob P, a second. Cindy, all those in favor? Appointment of impartial hearing officers for Committee on Special Education. Any questions or comments on that one? Motion to approve? Kathy, second. Rob M, all those in favor? Appointment to committees on special education. Any questions or comments on that one? Okay, motion to approve. Jesse, second. Cindy, all those in favor? Appointment of election workers for district votes. Questions or comments on that one? Okay, motion to approve. Rob M, second. Rob P, all those in favor? Designations, any questions or comments on that one? Okay,
Sure. So one of the notable changes for this year is typically it's at this time of the year that the board approves the collection of entrance fees to athletic events throughout the district. And in conversation with the board and communication with the board, we've made the decision to remove that going into the new school year, and therefore we'll still have security at all of our events and make sure our events are safe and secure, but guests and spectators, when they attend our events at regular season events, will no longer be charged to enter those events.
okay, can I get a motion to approve? Rob P, all second. Kathy, all those in favor? Appointment of the chief emergency officer. Questions or comments? Motion to approve. Cindy, second. RP, all those in favor? Okay, authorizations, comments, questions? Motion to approve. RP, second. Rob M, all those in favor? The readoption of the policy manual. Questions, comments? Motion to approve. Jesse, second. RP, all those in favor? Review of district policies on investments, purchasing, and parental involvement. Questions, comments? Motion to approve. Rob M, second. Rob P, all those in favor? I am looking for others. Nobody's raising their hands. Medicaid compliance, questions or comments on that one?
Ms. Mulligan, could you just give us just a brief synopsis of what this is and some of the changes we're anticipating making?
Yes, so about a year ago, we recognized that we needed to make some improvements in our Medicaid compliance, more to make sure that we're claiming everything that we can claim. And with Mrs. Harris's help, we've been able to claim things like transportation we haven't had in the past, but there's a lot more work to do. And we do have a current provider that we are reviewing, and we're looking to transition to Questar 3's Medicaid service, which will help improve some best practices and make sure that we're addressing all the needs that we have, including looking at our Medicaid compliance program and also some policies, which we may need some different legal assistance with. So there's a lot of works happening with that. Actually, we have a meeting Friday to look at starting to transition some of those services to make sure that we're doing everything that we can. So
And as we know, this was an improvement area that the board had previously targeted. We just wanted to be transparent about some of those changes that we had put in process.
Quick question. I'm wondering about, we had a planned summer meeting. I just want to make sure that's still on the radar. And one thing just for the future that I'm wondering about is thinking about optimizing claiming. And I know this meeting is meant procedural, I don't mean, so I don't want to take up too much time. But basically, like thinking about Medicaid claiming, what I'm wondering is about like the community schools like initiative of like, you know, focusing on all around care for kids, right? I'm just wondering how that look integrated into a Medicaid claiming process. So just something to keep on the radar looking forward, and I'll bring it up.
Great, thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve? Cindy, second. Robert, Shane, all those in favor? Procedures for post-issuance compliance with federal tax law. Any questions or comments? Motion to approve. Cindy, second. Rob M., all those in favor? And last but not least, interscholastic athletic rates. Questions or comments on that one?
And just for clarity, this is not for ticket collection. This is for the workers at the events, game
Yep.
clocks, things like that. This is not for fees that we charge for spectators that come to visit the events.
Any comments or questions? Motion to approve. RP, second. Sam, all those in favor? All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn the organizational meeting? Robert, second. RP, all those in favor? Okay. So do we need to call to order again?
Yeah, hold on, there's the regular business.
I'd like to call the East Greenbush Central School District Board of Education meeting for July 15th, 2026 to order. We are all present. We need to do the pledge?
No.
Done the pledge, so we're going to move on to approval of draft minutes from June 24th, 2026. Any questions or comments on that one? Okay, motion to approve. RM, second. RP. I know Sam and Jesse weren't here for that one, so all those in favor? And then abstaining, Jesse, Sam, and Shay. Okay, moving along to the public forum. Residents, students, employees, and business representatives of the East Greenbush Central School District may address the board on matters concerning programs and/or operations of the district, other than matters involving personnel. Members of the board do not directly respond to citizen concerns during the public forum. If a response is appropriate, either the president or superintendent will contact the individual in the near future. Those persons wishing to address the board will be recognized by the chair of the meeting and should state for the record their name and address or affiliation with the district or business. While the board does not wish to infringe upon free speech protections, it must be stressed that the visitors' forum is not deemed to be an open forum. The board president will conduct the forum for the orderly and efficient operation of board business. In addition, any remarks which may be considered defamatory or stigmatizing are prohibited and will be declared out of order. All comments shall be limited to 5 minutes. First up, Ingrid Espinoza.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? My name is Ingrid Espinosa. I'm a resident of East Greenbush, and I'm a parent of the district. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to reiterate a couple of things I've said before, and I think most of you have heard me or read my letters. But since it's the first meeting of the year, I wanted to take the opportunity to, maybe those of you who haven't heard me speak on this, I believe it's a very crucial topic for our children. It has wide-ranging effects for children and families, and I just think that the Board of Education and our school officials can really make a difference here. So, mainly the two issues that I wanted to kind of reiterate or call to your attention as are this. The first one, AI, and I really wanted to advocate and reiterate that I believe that our school district needs to really slow down on the deployment of AI for our children in our schools. I, this is still untested very much, and I really believe that basically, what's the rush? I think we need to really. Many school districts, as you probably have heard or seen, are really, throwing even the recent models of green light, yellow light, red light. Those are now really outdated, and people are realizing that that's not even going to cut it. So I remember last year I was in a meeting where I saw an example of how AI would work. For, one of the AI bots, I guess, that the district was planning or is maybe still utilizing. And I really, as a parent of a child, a young child, really, I was appalled that, the fact that you can say, give me a topic or give me an idea for this. I really think we need to slow down, let the kids be kids, let them think, let the teachers teach. And I really feel like our young population, our K to 12 students, should not be the subject of experimentation at this point. Maybe 5 years from now, and I really want to really encourage you to look at an organization called, and I always forget the name because I'm nervous. Oh, Fair Play for Kids. Fair Play for Kids is calling on a national 5-year pause on AI deployment in K to 12 schools. So I really want to encourage the district to look at that and really ask ourselves, what is the rush of getting our children to talk to bots, even if they say that the bots are not going to communicate or they're not going to learn from the kids, they're not open to public. It really is still stealing so much creativity from our children, so much real education, and really stealing. I don't know. It may be helpful for some teachers, but to deploy it for children, not at this time. So that's my topic number one. And the second one is really to encourage you, as you approve purchases, contracts, you look at the budget, you look at, you form committees, etc. This is the time to start really rethinking the one-to-one Chromebook replacement, or the one-to-one Chromebook policy, with each child getting a Chromebook. Honestly, Chromebooks, I mean, I really thank you for implementing the ban on personal devices in school. But to be honest, as a parent, I really have to say that Chromebooks became another, basically a phone replacement for the kids. So Chromebooks can take pictures, can take videos. Chromebooks, and I raised this issue some years ago to the district. Firewalls are good, but they're not 100% for sure. And I saw many instances where I notified the district where firewalls were violated, and kids were accessing websites that were going under the firewalls. So I'm just saying, at a time where we're really trying to diminish our kids' use of screens, having a screen in front of them with access to YouTube, and I've asked the district many times to block my kids' YouTube access. Firewalls on YouTube don't work. They're not effective. So right there, we're trying to incentivize less screen time, yet our kids have the screen in front of them all the time. So I really want to emphasize, stepping back from that and really considering, do we really need that policy throughout the schools? And I think that's it. Just to summarize, I just want to thank you, and say that I'm open to helping in any way I can, but those are really two critical topics that are facing our kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything? No. Moving into the board forum. Kathy?
I just want to say that I thought the graduation ceremony was spectacular. It was just so well done. Mike Harkin and the administrative team, it's really sweet to be a part of it. And I thought the thing at the end with the kindergartners giving their advice was just really terrific. So to those board members who have kids who graduated and everybody else, I thought it was just terrific.
Nothing. Thank you.
I'd like to say congratulations to Elliot, as being appointed as the other ex officio board member. I'm really excited to work with you this year and accomplish as much as we can.
Yeah. Pretty much covered what I was going to say. I'm just excited to get to work this year.
Welcome to our new and returning board members.
I have a question. I don't know if this is the right time, but I think part of it, she left. Related to what we're saying, I know we're gonna do the AI policy today. One of the, I've always been hesitant about the policy because it doesn't say much. But without a policy in place, they have full reign to use AI, right?
So in our filters right now, very little is turned on in terms of access. The minor exploration that we've done is extremely limited, but with Mr. Goodwin's departure, basically everything is locked down right now, so they really can't get into anything. So we can't even explore without a policy right now. That was really why we had to hold back as much as we did.
Thanks.
All right. Administrative committee reports.
Okay. So under your regular business tonight, you will be asked to adopt 6 policies that we have been discussing. One of which was the artificial intelligence policy. At the request of Mr. Buno, we did share the AI policy with Mr. Carandi coming in. He did have an opportunity to speak with Ms. Harris and Ms. Mahar together. We did send out the recommendations they did make. Ms. Mahar, do you want to just give a quick highlight on that?
Sure. So the policy specifically stated in there, talked about biased, but then it's right after that, it had talked about biased against or English language learners. And after speaking with Stephen, we decided, and Jessica Harris actually was also there, that it shouldn't really just be one stakeholder group. It really should just be biased in general against any group. So we took that language out in the policy. And then in the regulation, we do have the red light, yellow light, green light, which is that kind of like it restricts depending on what level you're in. In the yellow zone, yellow level, however you want to look at it, we had language in there about special education. And then there was another bullet about diverse learners. And we really talked it. Stephen had made this comment, and I really thought about it as well. And I asked him, I said, I really don't want it to be so specific about targeting one group. And after bringing Jessica in, she 100% agreed. So what we did is we took those last 2 out, which really targeted and just spoke more in general about support services for any student that needs support, regardless of what group they're in, marginalized students, it doesn't matter. It should just be an in general comment instead. So we made that decision to do that. And that really was the 2 edits that we made.
So all the other policies exist for your approval in the agenda tonight, as was presented and discussed during the last meetings with the revisions that were previously discussed. The other piece I wanted to discuss and thank the board for was for my attendance at the National Legislative Conference this past week. So the vast majority of our funding obviously comes from the state level, but there is a fair amount of money that we do receive through the federal government. And in attendance at the National Legislative Conference this past week, there are some things I do want to bring to your attention because there is potential impact coming down the road that will affect all school districts throughout New York State. The first one being direct funding to our title grants, and we receive money through with Title I through 4 grants. The House proposal that exists for the next fiscal year makes significant reductions to the title grants, but redirect some of those funds to IDEA funding. And if you know the history of IDEA, this came from President Bush in the 1990s with full commitment to fund services for special education, but throughout the last 30 years, IDEA has never been fully funded. So the optics would be that now the federal government is looking to work towards full funding of IDEA, but the reality is in the House proposal, that money is being taken from other areas. And the title grants get used for things such as professional development in the district, 504 funding, English language learner funding, and we do receive a significant amount of money in those title grants each year that could potentially be removed from our budget moving forward. The other piece that is of significant concern for us is there is something called E-rate funding. E-rate funding is available to both public schools and public libraries in New York State. Over the past several years, the 5-year window, we have been reimbursed for approximately $358,000 worth of work that we have done. And there's 2 categories under E-rate funding that we can claim reimbursement for the federal government. Category 1 being service-based provisions to the district, your phone service, your internet service that you can claim funding for. The other being infrastructure and hardware work in your IT network environment. The history of E-rate was its original intent, this again came from legislation in the 90s, was that it was supposed to ensure that across the United States, and it's hard to believe that in the 1990s, not all school districts had ample phone service. No. It was to make sure that there was connectivity to all public schools in the United States. It has now evolved over time. As I just said, many school districts use it for internet funding. There is legislation right now that is being passed around that would potentially either eliminate E-rate funding under the premise that, well, all schools are connected now. We just went through COVID. Everybody had to have internet. The reality is that's not true. I can give you an example in my previous district of a well-funded school district where our internet broke down in our high school and the IT coordinator went up into the ceiling to figure out why. The cable had literally disintegrated. And if we hadn't had E-rate funding, we would have had to have come up with about $250,000 to recable that first floor of the building. There is substantial assistance that we get from the federal government in programs such as this. And in this conference, not only were we able to learn about this, we were able to have FaceTime not only with our federally elected officials, but with their staffers who really carry a lot of this legislation to the floor of Congress. And specifically in the area of E-rate, there was a lot of lack of knowledge. So our ability to have that conversation with our elected officials was extremely helpful. One of the other points germane to our parent conversation tonight, there is a proposal floating around the Hill also on a federal moratorium on states' abilities to pass AI and other restrictive measures for at the state level. And it's the national superintendent's position that that's really something that should be left to the states. We know what's going on best in our states, and that moratorium would adversely affect our ability to be able to make best decisions in education for our students. I did share in your executive content and board docs all of the feedback that I just summarized for you, the one pager on E-rate, everything else that we were able to advocate for. But again, thank you. For the first time this year, I was elected to the state legislative committee. So by default, I got asked to go to this. This was an extremely valuable experience to be able to attend and to be able to really learn the impact that federal government also has on education here in New York State.
So just for clarification, Dr. Coates, this money that is potentially being moved around or eliminated is money we already planned on receiving when we passed the budget.
So this is for the prospective fiscal year, which could impact us in the next year. So one of the pieces of feedback that we got, we had an opportunity to meet with Congressman Riley's office, Senator Schumer's office, and some others too that were in attendance. The House proposal that exists, that they claim typically the House proposal is the most extreme, and then somewhere it resolves in the middle. But there's a very heavy push from the executive side of the government right now to cut back spending. And they fully anticipate that there's either going to be a stay in funding, which will be exactly where we are, or a significant reduction in some of this title funding. When you think about the perspective of planning for the new year, If those reductions are coming down the road, then we have to brace for that. One of the other pieces I've been talking to Ms. Mulligan and Mrs. Harris about, we're already seeing some procedural changes. So the way federal money works in New York State, it doesn't come directly to the school district. It gets filtered through the state. And I think that happens pretty much across the union. The executive branch is pushing pretty hard on some procedural changes to how that money gets passed on to the school districts. We're already seeing some of those early changes coming and how the state's addressing our grant application process. Our grants are now due much earlier than they have been in the summers before. There's some changes to how we have to write those grants, and we're seeing the effects of what we believe is more to come.
Because so that means like thinking like December, January planning for our coming, but like not this year, but the next year. It's that like it's kind of that conversation, right?
So the hard part that we're going to have to deal with is the federal budget doesn't align with the state budget.
Yeah.
So we're not getting our allocations in a timely fashion to know that if there are reductions that come, how do we deal with that in our fiscal year, because they don't line up.
But it could be potentially happening
This October.
this
October.
fiscal year. Yeah.
Right. So you're talking the 27 fiscal year, so
September.
it would be September of next year, correct?
I was going to ask, our advocacy committee work really focuses on our state partners.
Yeah.
Is there value in maybe broadening this to our federal partners as well?
So as I learn more about AASA, I do think so I was purposeful this year when we did our legislative open house of inviting our federal elected officials. Now I think it's even more important that when we revisit that program this year, to make sure that we try to at least get one or two of them here. Thank you. Nothing further, Ms. Maher? I just wanted to make sure that
Okay.
you weigh in on the policy
Yes.
piece.
Moving on to discussion items, the draft of the district-wide safety plan
Yep.
for 26-27.
So as is required by state statute, we have to open the public comment period for our district-wide safety plan. Again, the district-wide safety plan is meant to be that 10,000-foot overview. It's not the specific building by building, regulation by regulation. Those are things that are meant to be kept private in the event of a true emergency in the district, that we wouldn't want that to be public-facing information. This will technically open our 30-day public comment period. It will be posted to the website for the community to make any comments or ask questions. Then just before the school year opens, we'll do a brief presentation on what's in there, any potential changes that we've made, so that as the school year opens, we can readopt the safety plan and be compliant for the new school year.
Moving into regular business, Capital District Regional Planning Commission agreement for 26 through 29. Any comments or questions on that one?
This is the same group we've been working with previously.
And their data has been very accurate.
Can I get a motion to approve? Cindy, second. Rob P, all those in favor? Okay, adoption of the policies. Any comments or questions?
I just have a quick question, and I'm sure we've been over this, but I can't remember. Some policies have accompanying regulation, others do not. Can you just refresh us on
Yep.
why or? Yeah.
So policy is a 10,000 foot overview. It's where there's a federal law or a state law that the board must recognize that law and say, yes, we will implement whatever that is. The regulation doesn't necessarily need to come to board because that is how the administration intends to implement. You typically have a regulation where something's a little bit more intricate, if you will, and there's details. So why you have regulations? Because we'll use the AI policy, for example. We want to have an AI regulation to address, I'll use the example of the red, yellow, green light. Well, what does that mean? How do we want to interpret that? So you're not going to see an accompanying regulation for every single one because some are just much more plain than something like the AI policy.
And we don't approve, we are not approving the regulations.
We always put the regulations, it's been practiced to put the regulations on, but the only thing that the board must approve is policy.
And my second question, just on like, for example, one of them is on the bus accident. If there's a date of 2021 adopted, and so the content has not, that's signaling to us that the content has been reviewed but not changed.
Correct.
Got it.
So when this goes to board docs now, so after you approve it tonight, when Stephanie goes to help upload this tomorrow, she'll amend the date to put revised and reviewed with the new date on it.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, can I get a motion to approve? Jesse, second. Sam, all those in favor? Transportation consultant agreement with Pupil Transportation Safety Institute. Any comments or questions? Motion to approve. Jesse, second. Robert, Shane, all those in favor? The amendment to the SRO agreement with the town of East Greenbush. Any comments or questions on that one? Motion to approve. Cindy, second. Kathy, all those in favor? Okay, no tabled motions. No old business. Moving on to the consent agenda. Any comments or questions on any of that? Okay, motion to approve. Robert Shane, second. RP, all those in favor? No new business. Closing public forum. Anyone? Okay, back to the board, starting on this side.
I'll say something quick about the AI policy. I tend to think that AI can have some issues, and I would recommend to the school district, from the knowledge I've received from other students and from my own personal use of AI, that some sort of regulation specifically geared towards students and teachers' ability to use it to help teach should be thought of in the future. Nothing about tonight, but just a future comment.
Just want to say welcome, Elliot. William, it's great to have you back. And Dr. Harrison, it's really nice to have you at the table.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to a new board year.
Okay, and tonight we do need an executive session to discuss matters concerning personnel. So can I get a motion to move into exec? Robert Shane, second. Sam, all those in favor?
I am in favor.